Welcome to Wealth Coffee Chats, folks, for your daily live updates. Get the most out of today's episode by participating in the chat. Make sure you ask some questions, be part of the conversation, have a bit of fun, grab a coffee or a tea, take some notes, and get ready to start your day, folks. Quick few housekeeping rules, though. No spamming, no advertising or self-promotion in the chat. That's not on. Be kind and respectful to everyone when participating. And most of all, have a good time. Real estate investing can be your biggest asset. It also can be your most expensive asset when it comes to getting it right or getting it wrong, folks. It can be time-consuming, stressful, and that's why here at Positive, we have what's called a 6-star team, a full-service team that provides integrated wealth and property investing solutions and services simply designed to help you progress towards your goal of passive income through your property portfolio, folks. Make sure you check out our other podcasts on the Positive Mentor Network. Not only is there Wealth Coffee Chats, there's the Urban Property Investor. Drops every Wednesday with straight talking investing strategies and lessons with Sam Saggers. Property Investor Tales. This is where our clients, you guys, share real life stories from property investing, hosted by some of our advisors and strategists. And that's done every fortnight, dropping every Monday. Wealth, Wine and Wisdom, folks, that debriefs the week that was in the world of finance and property, hosted by yours truly, Jason Witten and Andy Fenton on Fridays. Hey, good morning, folks.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome to another Wealth Coffee Chat.
Hope you're well, folks, wherever you are.
There it is, team. Morning. Morning, wherever you're tuning in from today.
Early bird gets the worm, they say. Here at Positive, we offer a 6-star team. It's a team that help you at every stage of your wealth creation journey.
Morning, everyone. Happy Wednesday. Welcome to another Wealth Coffee Chats, property management edition here for your Wednesday, 3rd of September. If you're wondering if maybe if I move that way, you can see I've done half a paint job. So let me know in the chat. I probably should get that finished. But morning to you guys, wherever you're tuning in from this morning. If you haven't met me before, my name is Cash Shosted. I represent the Property Management Group, part of your 6-star collective team. Here to talk all things about consolidating, holding property, certainly all things tenancy related. As you guys know, I always like to bring a story or two. So if you're tuning in from anywhere special this morning, give us a bit of a shout in the chat. Always good to see who's online. And we're going to get on with today's topic and lesson this morning, because today, something I'd share, and maybe you guys have gone through something like this, maybe you haven't. I thought we'd have a bit of a conversation this morning here on Wealth Coffee Chats. Vacate day disasters, what the smart investors are doing out there to safeguard their returns, safeguard their asset, safeguard vacancy, safeguard how they're going to maximize that rent on their next leasing campaign. As you guys know, we take a strategic approach and not as much of a reactive approach as possible. So a bit of a story this morning on that. So I'd love to know, listen, for everyone tuning in live this morning, if you've ever had a tenant vacate, leave the property and owed you rent, pop a yes in the chat. Would love to hear if that's you. Let me know maybe what the biggest challenge you've had as an investor when it comes to vacates, tenants leaving, tenancies turning over, renewing in that space. Caroline's on this morning. Good morning to you, Caroline. Hope you're well wherever you're tuning in from. I'm sure I want to say sunny Tasmania this morning. Hopefully it's sunny down there. I haven't checked this morning. I know you guys probably can't see it on the camera, but I've got the sun absolutely beaming in on my eyes on the right-hand side here. But morning in that space. So listen, if you've had a tenant vacate, they've owed you rent, you've had some sort of damage, disaster, let me know in the chat. Be good to know what your biggest challenges are when it comes to tenant vacating. But a quick lesson this morning, and I want to run you through a bit of a scenario, and hopefully we'll have a 3-4 step process of what to do next time. You guys can implement it into this portfolio in the event you ever get yourself in this situation. So I want to talk about, obviously, tenants vacating, and I want to talk a scenario where tenants vacated, they owe rent, you have found, or the property manager has found, significant damages in the property. Let's assume there hasn't been any bond clean done, right? So there's cleaning outstanding, And let's assume there's some rubbish removal and a few other bits and pieces as well. Justin's online. Morning to you, mate. Hope you're well. So let's just going to assume that scenario. Tenant's vacated. We've got arrears owing. We've got damages. We've got rubbish removal that needs to be done. And we've got outstanding cleaning. So, it's cold and overcast, Carol. No good. No good. Maybe that's good. I don't know. Maybe you like the cold. Not for me today, that's for sure. I'll take the sun. Bob's online as well, mate. Morning. Love the banner in the chat, guys. Keep it coming. Helps with today's conversation. So this is the scenario. We've got a few things outstanding. The client rings and says, hey, listen, I've seen the exit report. Looks a bit messy. Looks like there's a bit of stuff going on there. And perhaps what's outstanding is not going to be covered by the bond because it is exceeding the amount of bond held in trust. What do we do next? Now, what tends to happen, team, is between the property manager, who doesn't understand the process, and the owner, who is feeling quite stressed, quite frustrated, very concerned, not understanding what the next steps are when it comes to how do we solve this problem here, given the amount outstanding is more than the bond. Perhaps there's no buffers in place. What are we going to do, right? Bit of a situation, and sometimes, most cases, when this is not held to account, when the process isn't followed, when you're not getting on top of these things, what tends to happen is this situation drags on for months, for weeks, for months, and it goes on and on and on. And in the meantime of you trying to solve that problem, the property's not being re-advertised, the property's not being relet, we're not getting new tenants in, and essentially as the owner, you're not generating a dollar in that period, right? And so at the end of the day, the net figure is a -1 for you as the landlord, and for the property manager as well, if they haven't already realized it. So we've got this scenario. What do we do? Here's the four things. Here's the kind of the four frameworks and four processes, if you like, four phases in which would love for you guys to think about it like this. So the number one thing, when you've got a tenant vacating and there's significant things outstanding above and beyond the bond, what do we do? The first thing we need to do is, maybe you're self-managing, but if you've got a property manager, they need to get out there and do the exit condition report. Okay, if you don't already know, the exit condition report is a process where we go out there, we take the report that the agent has done at the beginning of the tenancy, we take notes, we take photos, we compare that to what it was, let's say 12 months ago when the tenant first moved into the property. We compare like for like, less wear and tear. That's going to be a clear document for you guys to ensure you have the evidence and the notes and the photos that go along with it to see what the condition of the property was like 12 months ago to where it is today. So that's step number one. Many property managers miss it. And when I say property managers need to go do this, we need to do it obviously with quality, with some depth, with some detail. It's not a 5-minute job. If your property manager's saying, listen, I was there for 2 hours, that's a good thing. If they said they were there for 5 minutes and there's all these outstanding things, red flag. So make a note of that. But you need the exit condition report as a starting block to identify what is going on at the property. So that's step number one. Get that done. Ask for a copy of that exit condition report if you're concerned in any way, shape, or form. Number two, we need to get quotes. We need to get tradespeople. Now, your property manager should have these guys on speed dial. Look, it's part of the challenge. I will say, obviously, with tradespeople is that they are busy. Sometimes they don't get to things as fast as we want them to get to. But obviously, once you can identify what you need, so in this case, we need a bond cleaner. We need someone to remove all the rubbish immediately. We need to get a quote, obviously, for the other damages around the property. In this scenario that I'm sharing with you, the value of all those items was about $9,000. Okay, so significant amount of money when you think about it, and certainly one we need to pay attention to at a great deal. So we're going to get some quotes. We're going to get an understanding how much this is actually going to cost to rectify, to get the property back up to a minimum standard so you can get the property back on the market. So you're looking at two angles. Yes, we want to try to work through the process of the situation with the damages and the rent owing. At the same time, we're going to get the property back on the market. We've got to get it relet, get that money flowing back in for you and get a new tenant. So there's two angles here we want to look at. Now, once you've done your exit condition report, you now have a document there to obviously stand up to, and obviously want to communicate that with the tenant. But let's assume in this scenario, the tenant is not responsive. They're not communicating with you, Bob. They're not communicating with you, Justin. They're not getting back to anyone, right? What do we do? Okay, continue to document, continue to email, continue to make those calls and text messages that your property manager should be doing. Keep the communication up despite them not being responsive. I'll tell you why that's important in a minute. Third thing we want to do, after we've got the quotes and we've got a bit of an idea what's going on, is we want to claim the bond in full. Okay, obviously we've identified that what's outstanding is above and beyond the bond. We're going to claim the bond in full. Now, depending on which state you are in, sometimes you need to provide the evidence. I think most states are going down that way. So again, we're not concerned because we've already done that. We've got an exit condition report, we've got photos and notes, and we've got the quotes from the licensed tradespeople, right? So I'm not concerned that I'm claiming $3,000 over here because I know it's a legitimate quote. I haven't made it up. Don't make prices up, team. We're not about that. But in this case, I'm not concerned because I've done the work. So we claim the bond. Now, obviously, there's a process. You might have to wait 14 days, 28 days, etc., etc. Let that go on in the background, but obviously get the claim. Now, the biggest thing that investors do, the smart ones, to safeguard their investment, to sort these outstanding issues out, is obviously landlord's insurance. There's two ways you can submit your insurance claim, team, and I'm going to give you the lazy version and I'm going to give you the smart strategic version, which I know all of you guys will do. So the lazy version of the property manager is we get the exit condition report, which, let's face it, they probably have done 50% of the job. We've got some quotes. They might be right, they might be wrong. We might have got one quote, and maybe insurance is probably going to ask us to get two, depending on the level of damage, right, and the amount. In this case, right, $9,000. So they might want to see another quote. When we submit the claim, I have two choices. I can just send an email and put all my documentation and say, hey, Mr. Landlord, have Mr. Landlord's insurance, like to make a claim, here it is, right? That's the lazy way out. We just flick an email, hope for the best. I don't like hoping for the best. I think there's much better way to do that. So what we want to do, let's reverse. We've now received the bond. Let's just say the bond is $3,000. I want to allocate that bond, that $3,000, to items outstanding against the tenant, tenant's ledger, or the tenant's invoices outstanding for the items, against items that is not covered on our client's landlord's insurance. For example, if I had $3,000 claimed on the bond and the tenant owed $9,000, and of that $9,000, $3,000 was rent, I'm not going to take the $3,000 in bond and allocate it to the $3,000 in rent outstanding. Why would I do that? I'm not going to do that, but this is what happens, right? People will allocate that bond to the rent, then they'll submit the claim for the $6,000 difference. Unfortunately, there might be some items like cleaning, like rubbish removal, like a few other things that insurance might deem to be wear and tear that they will not cover, and therefore you won't get that full amount back. However, on most good and great landlord's insurance policies, they cover rent arrears up to 6, 8, sometimes 20, 24 weeks, in which case I'm going to take that $3,000. I'm going to allocate $500 towards the cleaning. I'm going to allocate another $500 towards the rubbish removal. I'm going to allocate the other $2,000 to maybe outstanding water invoices and towards the damages there as compensation to the landlord, right? What we do with that money, we're going to allocate that accordingly to what we need to do. Once I've done that, I can then show landlord's insurance, hey, Mr. Insurance, we've exhausted the bond. Here's where we've assigned it. Here's where we've allocated it. This is the difference now. Now the insurer can assess the full arrears owing along with the damages, right? Which, if you look at your landlord's insurance policies, you've got accidental and malicious damage. So obviously policy to policy may differ. Check your policy. But that's how I would do it. Not the one email, the lazy way out, and say, hey, you suss it out, you sort it out, you let me know how much you're willing to give me. That's the lazy way out, team. So what I would say is, remember the phases. If you're in a situation where a tenant's vacate, we want to get the exit condition report done. You want to see a copy of that. You want it detailed. You want it to be thorough. If they say they've been there for 5 minutes, red flag, team, right? Get the quotes. Obviously, having good tradespeople is important. We're going to claim the bond in full. And when we submit the claim, have a strategy around how you're going to submit that claim. So that's what I would say. You want evidence-based stuff. You want to make sure you allocate that bond to non-claimable items, not your rent cover. Just reverse it in that scenario. So Bob says he's been in this exact situation. Hopefully you applied these 4 things, Bob, and you got out okay, hopefully. But that's it for this morning, team. I thought I'd just run through that in a quick little lesson on how to safeguard your investment when it comes to those unfortunate vacates that those vacate disasters that happen from time to time. Is it inevitable? Can we stop it? Potentially not in some cases, but certainly what we can do is have the right framework in place to keep you safe. And part of that is your landlord's insurance. Part of that is your property manager's exit vacate strategy and process. So there's certainly some things there. We don't want to. We choose not to be lazy. We choose to be proactive. We choose to be strategic, safeguarding your investment. In this scenario that I'm saying, it was a $9,000 claim. Thankfully, the owner's going to get majority of that back, which is fantastic. The owner can move forward and not be stressed, not be as frustrated. We can move on. We can get the next tenant. So that's it for a Wealth Coffee Chat on a Wednesday, team. Thanks for playing along. Don't forget, 8:10 tomorrow, financial planning team will be back online, and I'm sure they'll have a lesson or two. So definitely tune in for that. Bring your questions. I'm sure Alex and Andy and the team will love that. So that's it for now. You guys have a good Wednesday. Bye for now.
Thanks for watching another episode of Wealth Coffee Chat, folks. Make sure you like, subscribe, and turn on your notifications so you never miss a thing when we go live. Improve your portfolio and investing game, folks, with Wealth Coffee Chats live every morning at 8:10 each weekday. Make sure you join us. Previous episodes are also available wherever you get your podcasts, folks, as well as our other podcasts from the 6-Star team here at positivementor.com.au.